On tonight's episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup, we are talking Senior Bowl, we're talking Shrine Bowl, who is out there, who is participating, who could be the best fit for the Denver Broncos, plus big free agents. Kenny's got the list. Could the Denver Broncos get a big fish? All that and more coming up next. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. My name is Keith Brugman. I'm with my good friend Kenny Kirkpatrick. We're sponsored by the amazing Morgan Trinkets and brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Kenny, man, it's Tuesday night, man. I'll tell you what, I just got to say, man, it's like -3. I've shoveled like 3 times. I think we've got like 9-10 inches worth of snow. It's crazy up here, man, but I'm here for the posse. I'm here for you, and I can't wait to get this podcast started.
Yeah, we had a rare, I don't want to say rare. We had this winter a rare 64-degree day today. It's already dropped down to the 40s. It's supposed to get into the 30s and then maybe the 20s tomorrow. So big change. We'll see, but I'm excited to be here. Second week officially a horseman, so ready to roll. I know we got a nice little agenda for everybody, and coming off of mock draft show yesterday with Trevor Salzman, and check us out. We did the K&K Sports Show, Rocky Mountain Sports Network combined mock draft. I know a lot of people in the chat were there and in the posse, and appreciated the support. And like I said, we got a fun agenda for everybody tonight, and ready to get the ball rolling, Keith.
Yeah, Kenny is up to speed, like where all these prospects are really getting seeded, first round, second round, 5th round, 7th round. You guys nailed it. You had a fantastic show, just a nice first round of the draft, no trades, went through, and man, there were some surprises. There were some great selections for some teams. You got to check out what they did over on the K&K Sports Show. I'm sure there'll be more to come, and who knows who's going to be on there next, man. Got to talk to the posse, though. That's everybody in here commenting as we go live. Got to talk to Scott as over on YouTube saying, evening all, time to chat Bronco options. You're dang right it is, man. With the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl, we're excited to see maybe who you saw, maybe who you were talking, who you've been talking about with your fellow Bronco fans, and who you're maybe excited to see join this team. Pearl's coming in, just letting us know that she was in here before we were, as we were getting ready to go. Some last-minute changes. We thought that, earlier in the week, we thought we might have the 4 horsemen. Now it's down to 2. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to rock it out, me and Kenny. Hats off to Trevor and Jody, who are out there not able to make it. Maybe we'll see them in the chat a little bit later. Hey there, says Scott. Now we're in here. Let's see. I just scrolling through all these comments. Everyone's saying hello to everybody. Got to say hello to Ernie Mays, saying hello to us. Hello, Keith. Go Broncos country only, and go Bo Nix for 6. Morgan Trinkets, will be talking more about them later, but she said, letting you know that she's more. Let's try that again. Talk about more about Morgan Trinkets later. Pearl's letting us know that she hasn't had Morgan horses since 1965. Wow. And that's where the name Morgan Trinkets comes in from. Got Mr. Michael Ronquillo coming in, saying hello, saying good evening, Keith and Kenny, and go Bo Broncos. That's with 100 stars, Kenny. Coming in here, getting us taken care of.
Everybody's friend, Michael Ronquillo. He supports all of us. all our shows, and he was there yesterday with the mock draft, and Ernie saying hello as well. Ernie was there, Scott, a lot of people were there yesterday. So the support is greatly appreciated, and we love you all.
Man, I'm telling you what, talk about it, man. Talk about support. Got Paul coming in here and calling you Kenny G, man.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that nickname.
I
the nicknames are fun. The nicknames are fun.
Hello to Kenny, says Mr. Ernie Mays.
How you doing, Mr. Mays? I'll give you my best attempt at a salute.
And there you are. Pearl's saying hello to both of us and giving us lots,
Pearl, I'll do the heart
of love.
Do the heart the best I can.
And there you go. For all those playing along with the video side of things. No, I mean, lots of love for Kenny as he's joined us. Lots of love to Clayton coming in here and saying, hey, guys, smash that like and share button. And Mr. Phil McLaughlin coming in here. He's helping it. Oh, I got to say, Clayton is helping us out with some stars too, man. I'm falling so far behind.
You guys are awesome
on everything.
tonight.
You guys are like killing it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kenny. Running around.
No, this might be a 3-hour show. We go at this rate with all the chat coming and the stars from the posse. Keep it up. We love you guys. The show's about you guys.
Absolutely. Phil, man, me and Phil might be lockstep here, man. But I'm gonna throw this question to you first. Good evening, Keith and Kenny. You guys think it's possible we take a safety at the number 20 spot? Now, you just got done with that fantastic mock draft over at the K&K Sports Show, had Trevor Salzman on there. Y'all went back and forth. We ended up with a defensive lineman at number 20 that Trevor selected. But you have a better idea of where everybody went. Do you think safety is a possibility at the number 20 spot for Phil McLaughlin coming in here, dropping stars, keeping us nice and toasty warm this evening?
It is possible. I have a little cheat sheet from yesterday, our mock draft. Looking at it right now, there's one guy, Mr. Phil McLaughlin, that I like a lot at safety, and that's Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia. We had him mocked going at 15 to the Falcons. So I could see that being, if he slips by the Falcons at 15, if some of the other guys are off the board, the tight ends, if you like some tight ends in day 2, and we're going to get to that in a little bit, I think there is definitely a shot at 20 for a Malachi Starks type of player. But I think that would be the guy I would go for if it was safety, Phil, would be Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia.
Nicely done. See, I knew Kenny would have the answer, man. Kenny knows his stuff. Like I said, mock draft, right up there with Mel Kiper and Todd. No, I mean, honestly, great show last night, man.
Thank you. And real quick, for those who didn't see, I gave the pleasure of Trevor having the honor of picking for the Broncos. He went with the defensive tackle, Walter Nolan. There was a lot of love. There was some hate for that pick. There was some, the posse was in the chat yesterday was 50-50, maybe 60-40, liking it over disliking it. And I see a comment from Michael Keith saying that he watched some highlights of Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, the pick that Trevor made. He has a good first step off the line. And we liked it. I like the pick because he's a good run stopper and can rush the quarterback. So if you have time, go look up the name Walter Nolan. That's who Trevor had mocked for the Broncos, Keith.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your credit, to Trevor's credit, guess what I did, man? I went back and I watched some pretty good amount of tape, mainly over Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl. And guess what? Mr. Walter Nolan, Mr. Michael Ronquillo is talking about him here. You're talking about him, Kenny. Trevor was talking about last night on the K&K Sports Show, selecting him number 20 for the Denver Broncos. And I went back and I watched some tape, man. And if you look at some Senior Bowl tape, he was one of my top guys. We're talking Senior Bowl tonight. We're talking Shrine Bowl. We're talking some stars. And Kenny's coming in here. Michael's coming in here saying, Kenny, I watched some of the highlights on Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. He has a good first step off the line. And I would say he's got a lot more than a good first step, man. I was impressed. Probably, in my opinion, one of the standouts when it came to defensive linemen at the Shrine Bowl. I might have a few others in here as well. One that I really liked. But Kenny, let's jump right into it, man. Like I said, maybe a Senior Bowl. I always get these ones mixed up, so I always have to reference Senior Bowl star when we're talking about when we're talking about, I'm sorry, Walter Nolan here. But let's jump into maybe some of your stars as well. And I want to get the posse all involved. I got to say hello to my good friend Jeremy Dressler, coming in and say, "Sup, fellas, go Broncos! Good to see you, Jeremy." And yeah, the posse's on Broadway, says Paul Schaefer, throwing me way back, so I got a giggle out of that one. And he's also wanting to get a nose guard in the 4th round. There might be some opportunities for some big guys in the middle as well. But your list, man, who stood out at the Senior Bowl for you? Who did you really like, man? That's the one that has, as you said before the show, a little bit more talent.
A little more talent in the Senior Bowl. So I did my Senior Bowl evaluations a little different than the Shrine Bowl. With the Senior Bowl, I did positions of need that I feel the Broncos are going to address, could very well address in the draft. And I got running back first, and I wrote down 2 running backs that I was impressed with at practice and / the Senior Bowl. And with the Senior Bowl, a lot of it, you're going to watch the practices during the week, the drills they have with against their the other side of the ball, the offense versus the defense drills and practice is really what you want to watch. First guy I wrote down is an interesting one, Donovan Edwards, running back out of Michigan, Keith and Posse. Looks more like a natural looks more like a pass catcher, so a 3rd down back. But what I'm hearing is from him, a team may try and convert him into a slot wide receiver. But if I'm the Broncos, maybe I'm looking at a day 2, a day 3 pick and having him as that 3rd down weapon for Bo Nix. I'm talking maybe like a 4th, 5th round pick, maybe even 6th round pick here, a late pick in Donovan Edwards. But the other name I keep that running back that I really like, and I feel this could be a steal of one of the steals of this year's upcoming draft, Ollie Gordon, the running back out of Oklahoma State. Had an impressive practice when he was given a chance. And, you look at the running back drills, there's a lot of running backs there. You don't get many chances. But Ollie Gordon, if you remember, those college football fans, had a very good chance of breaking Barry Sanders' record in 2023. Regressed this year, but I think it was in fact that Oklahoma State was not a good team this year. So you watch some tape on him from 2023. He looked like the 2023 version of Ollie Gordon. I know Jody's not here with us tonight. I know Jody's high on him as well. Go watch Ollie Gordon. So that's what I had at running back, Keith. I don't know if you have any running backs or thoughts on those 2 guys.
Running backs is probably the position group I got to very last. I'll be honest, man. I was really in the trenches at first, and I ran out a little bit of time. Ollie Gordon, Devin Neal, Kansas running back. I like him as well. Brashard Smith, SMU running back. Now, the one thing that I don't like about, especially like a Brashard Smith, smaller guy, fast, quick, hits the hole, and is gone out of the hole before you know it. But not necessarily that, that larger size back that is more prototypical for the NFL. So, do we need another, I don't know, Jaleel McLaughlin type of running back for the Denver Broncos? I'm not sure. But when we're talking about stars and guys who maybe popped a little bit, a guy that I, kind of stood out as far as that running back position group is concerned. I'm going to switch it up, man. I know that you don't have as many listed in this, man, but I got to talk about the standout, because when you start talking about a North Dakota State University offensive lineman, when you start talking about Gray Zabel, oh my gosh, I've never seen a guy more dominant in practice than this guy, man. This guy was absolutely astounding. Almost of all the practice snaps I saw, Gray Zabel, offensive lineman, North Dakota State University, lost one snap. Add on top of that, in practice and throughout the game, he played every offensive line position. I mean, this guy is a beast. And, just like, it was just a few years ago, we were talking about a guy out of Whitewater by the name of Quinn Miners that came out of nowhere and ended up being a staple for the Denver Broncos. He just reeks of it. North Dakota State University, Gray Zabel. I just had to give him a mention before we go on to another guy in your realm here, buddy, that you have listed out on your list as well. But man, look out for Gray Zabel. I don't know if you had a chance to hear or watch or see any of him, but
no, that's an excellent pick there, Keith. And I will say this, as opposed to like the guys from the Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio States, Gray Zabel playing for North Dakota State Division 1AA. Those are the guys you want to watch for in the Senior Bowl, the Combine. If they can compete and do well against these guys in bigger conferences at practice, then they are worth it. So, he did not take a step back, and I think he will. We didn't mock him in our first round yesterday, but he's got a good chance of getting up into the first round, and I think he will be first round talent if he continues at the Combine and does a good Combine. You're going to see him jump into the first round because of his performance at the Senior Bowl first and then the Combine. I got wide receivers next. If I wrote down two again for wide receiver that stood out for me. First one, those who don't know, Miami Hurricane fan, and this is not because I am a Miami Hurricane fan. I think this could be a nice pick and a sneaky pick. Xavier Restrepo, slot receiver out of the U. Shifty. I would compare him to Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type, or maybe more recent, a younger Cooper Kupp type of receiver in the slot there. Shifty. If you watch him at practice, he does not. I like his out patterns. He runs nice routes on the outside and also on the inside. So I would not hesitate on Xavier Restrepo. And then another one, interesting name. See if the Broncos would want to take him, and that's Mr. Tez Johnson, Oregon wide receiver. Straight line speed. Quickly gets out of his in and out cuts is what I wrote down. He was dominated one-on-ones in practice. If you watch him in practice, dominated it. But of course, the added bonus, he's Bo Nix's stepbrother. I mean, what better way to build your future than with not Tez Johnson's talented, and if you can get Tez Johnson with Bo Nix, how comfortable would Bo Nix feel with Tez Johnson in the offense?
Yeah. Adopted stepbrother, Tez Johnson. I'll be honest, man. At first I had my eyes on somebody else. A few more posse members jumping in. He said, Michael Ronquillo saying, Keith, Eric on Dove Valley Deep Divers had the Broncos taking Gray Zabel. So, wow. Great minds think alike. I didn't have a chance to try to be watching in. I don't know if that was tonight's episode or a prior one, but yeah, I mean, the guy was impressive enough that the Denver Broncos should certainly be paying attention and be looking at him. Karen's coming in over on YouTube. Thank you, Karen, very much, saying good evening. All happy Tuesday. And, before I jump into mine, Tez in the fourth, asks Paul Schaefer. Where do you think that Tez will end up ultimately going in this NFL draft, Kenny? Because this is a draft that I think, especially with quarterbacks not being, having a ton of quarterbacks that are going to be pushed into the top of these rounds, you're going to see some of these other skill positions like wide receiver and running back and tight end and even cornerback and the like maybe be pushed up a little bit further. Does Tez last into the fourth round?
With his Senior Bowl performance that he had at practice And if I'm guessing he's going to be at the combine. He runs a good combine 40 speed. No, he will not be there in the 4th round. He's going to go way earlier. I'm talking early 3rd round, maybe late 2nd round.
Well, very good, man. Well, maybe not very good. I mean, we'd like him to maybe last about as long as we possibly can. Maybe get an opportunity to pick up a guy like Tez. And there was another guy like I said, I ended up probably getting hotter on Tez the more I watched film and the more I did my research, because the guy at wide receiver that jumped off the page, especially down at the Senior Bowl, and was out there just impressing for me, was one Arian Smith out of Georgia. Here's a guy that quite possibly could be the fastest guy at the combine, a guy that could be pushing a 4.3 number at the NFL combine, a guy that was absolutely impressive in the breaks. Now, that being said, he's kind of like Tez. He's one of the smaller guys. You're not looking at a 6'3", 220 type of guy. You're looking small type of guys like Tez. You know what I mean? So, A, he can get broke off his routes, and B, he has some route tree progression to be made. He didn't get as many touches, as many snaps as at Georgia. I should say touches, because he was out there getting snaps, but he was out there taking the top off of the defenses for other guys to operate underneath. Not a bad thing always, but this guy absolutely has some potential. The downside is, and where I think Arian Smith is going to fall comparatively to Tez, is his hands. He has some drops, and you can fix drops, but you can't make speed like Arian Smith has. So a guy to watch out for, a guy later down the rung, just because the tape's going to go ahead and hold him back, regardless of how fast he is, and regardless of the NFL combine and the drills that he puts up. But a guy that absolutely could be a game changer. We just saw a guy named Xavier Worthy go to the Kansas City Chiefs last year. I'm not saying he's Xavier Worthy, but he certainly could be, putting the speed up like one Xavier Worthy did. So that's the guy for me to look out for at wide receiver. I got to admit, though, man, I'm right there with you with Restapro. Man, this is a guy, and I know that, Kenny, you have a little bit of a connection here. I've heard comparisons to Wayne Chrebet. What do you think? What do you think about a comparison to a Wayne Chrebet?
For those who don't know, I went to school with Wayne Chrebet, and we played football together. He was 1 year ahead of Kurt Valenti and I, my co-host over at K&K. So I know Wayne very well. And Wayne, if you got a comparison to Wayne Chrebet, go watch tape on Wayne Chrebet. You want to talk about a guy, just, not the fastest of players, not the flashiest, but he'll make the catch that you need in the trenches. He'll make that. If you need 5 yards, he'll get that 5 yard. If you need 10 yards, he'll get that 10-yard catch for you. He'll move the chains type of player. And that's what you want. You want players that are going to play hard, and you want players that are going to move those chains for you one way or the other. And that was Wayne Chrebet for the New York Jets back in the 90s. Mid 90s to the early 2000s, he played for the New York Jets. One team he played his whole career, and that tells you something too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love me some Wayne Chrebet back in the day, man. It's just amazing that they have you have that connection. You know what I mean? That someone that was so prolific in my mind didn't always have the best players around him, didn't always have the best team around him. But I'll tell you what, man, talk about a guy that just went out there and grit and took hits. And I mean, was the epitome of that guy going over the middle. And in the mid to late 90s, this is when you just got laid out for doing such a thing. You know what I mean? If you were if your quarterback was willing to put you in position, you could, wake up with a broken jaw the next morning. It's just the way it was back then. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Wayne Corbett did it better than anybody, man. I loved me some Wayne Corbett. So,
and I'm gonna have to talk to him off the. I'm friends with him on Facebook still to this day, so I'm gonna have to write to him and see when are they coming out with a movie for you, Wayne? Anything in. Tease us a movie. I want to see a movie about you.
That wouldn't be that bad, man. That's not a bad idea. Michael Ronk. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick because I know we got the Bronco. We got our agenda. Wayne Corbett wasn't even the number one wide receiver on our team. We were more of a run first team. He went to the University of Hofstra. The Jets practice facilities was at Hofstra. That's how he got the tryout with the Jets. He wasn't even drafted. He was a walk-on, very much like a college walk-on, like Rudy type of thing. If we all seen the movie Rudy.
Yep.
Wayne Corbett just happened to be at Hofstra as a student and went and got was able to get a tryout with the Jets and made it, and there had his great career with the Jets. So just wanted to share that with everybody.
Absolutely, man. Michael Ronquillo is coming in. He's switching us back over to Senior Bowl. He's saying defensive player from Toledo had a good practice at the Senior Bowl. And I'm pretty sure you're talking about Darius Alexander, defensive tackle out of Toledo. Did have a fantastic Senior Bowl practice. Another guy to be looking out for in that interior as well. But if we're talking interior, and I'm going to be able to switch back over to that because you took me there, Michael. I appreciate it. I'm going to be looking out for a guy out of Utah that was participating down at the Senior Bowl, and I'm going to try not to, obliterate anybody's names, but it's tough when you don't know them all, and there's a lot of names out there. So Junior Tufuna.
Yeah, those the junior. Well, just I used the first initial on the last name on those.
Tufuna.
Yeah,
there we go. Junior Tufuna, defensive tackle out of Utah. This is a guy, man, that was absolutely just blowing it up at the Senior Bowl practices, man. Senior Bowl practices, he just, like I said, it didn't matter. He was in the backfield. He was causing havoc. He just is a fantastic product that I would love to see in that interior. He's a guy that really plays into the scheme, Kenny, that we're playing now, where you're an up the field type of scheme, where you're not just gap protecting, where you're trying to get after the quarterback. Man, I'm telling you, man, Junior Tufuna, defensive tackle out of Utah. That's one that I'm going to take a look at. I see a few people jumping ahead to the free agency, including Ernie Mays and Phil McLaughlin. We're going to hit those in a bit, man. But I guess I'll open it up to either side, man. We're already 28 minutes in, so Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, whoever it happens to be. I want you to go ahead and
I'll just read a couple names, Keith, because of the time, and we'll, if anybody wants to add anything, please do. But defensive line, I also put down Cam Jackson out of Florida. Watch out for this guy at the combine. I want to see what he runs. 6'6", 340 pounds.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a run stopper? Let's look out for this guy, Cam Jackson. And then over to the offensive side of the ball, my opinion, you guys did this a few weeks ago. Biggest need, my opinion, it's an argument. You got a 1 and 1A running back / tight end. I think you got a lot of good ones coming out in this draft that can be day 2 picks. And 2 stood out for me this week. One was Mason Taylor, Jason Taylor's son, Miami defensive edge rusher for many years. He showed a lot of advanced development than a lot of others this week, what I saw. And I saw Mason Taylor, SEC, LSU. I saw him make a huge catch against Alabama when LSU beat Alabama 2 years ago. But the guy I really love, and I'm not a homer here, I just like him. what I saw at this Senior Bowl practice, I may even take this guy round 1 if he's there. And that's Elijah Arroyo, tight end out of Miami.
Thank you.
Dominated one-on-ones. I will go watch some YouTube clips of the practice. This guy, Mario Cristobal, has compared him to Jeremy Shockey and Jimmy Graham combined. You want to talk about two good tight ends. We all know what Jimmy Graham did. And for those who don't know Jeremy Shockey, he was a beast and would just barrel people down and get those extra 3-4 yards after the catch. First round material, if he's there, this guy's going to rise up draft boards fast. And I'm telling you, it's going to be real fast because this guy's a beast. And then on the Shrine Bowl, I wrote down, Keith, a couple names to look out for. Not for the Broncos, but watch this guy, Kyle McCord, quarterback out of Syracuse. I did the Shrine Bowl a little differently. Day 2 pick. This guy's going to rise up boards. Edge rusher, Elijah Roberts out of SMU. I think he could be a day 2 pick, sneaking up boards. Jimmy Horn, a wide receiver out of Colorado. Watch out for him. And then Kobe Bryant. Yes, I said Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. Spelled a little differently. Cobee, corner out of Kansas. Like his talents a lot. Day 2 pick. Could be in play for the Broncos, in my opinion.
Nice. Lot of names that we need to. Any of these guys available at 20? Ask Phil. He's asking Briningstool, tight end, Arroyo, Fanning, or Taylor. Do you think any of those guys are going to be sitting there waiting for us at 20? And if so, how many do we get to pick from?
I think they're all going to be there. Maybe Arroyo jumps up boards and somebody takes Arroyo. But I think the other ones, Phil, are there. But I am very high on Arroyo. I like Arroyo more than Loveland, to be honest with you. And I know a lot of people are in love with Loveland. I'm even putting him ahead of Warren. And you can get this guy in the second round. That's a giant steal. That's how high I am on this guy. Red zone target. Bo Nix would fall in love with this guy instantly.
I would 100% agree, man. If you're looking for that receiving style of tight end, I still want to take a look and see what he's capable of doing in the blocking game. I'm gonna have to just go back and I'm gonna have to watch some Miami tape to see if there's any possibility that he could do a little inline blocking as well. But
I will say,
from just a straight receiving standpoint,
yeah,
I mean, one of the best talents I've seen come out from a tight end perspective since probably Kyle Pitts. I really like what I've seen so far.
And Jeremy Shockey wasn't as bad a blocker as people think. Jeremy Shockey did block when we needed him to block, and I'm a Giants fan, so I know Jeremy Shockey. So I will be okay with that comparison, Jimmy Graham and Jeremy Shockey combined. I got to go after him if I'm the Broncos.
He's got to be on the radar. He's got to be a talent that you're looking at. You're so inept at that position, and you probably have the ability to go out there and, keep that blocking tight end or get that blocking tight end. When you talk about a pass catching tight end with the type of hands that I've seen Arroyo display, that's a different level. That puts you in a different position than I think we've seen in quite some time. I want to run through just a few names that I really liked out of the Shrine Bowl. Can't go without talking about a Division III guy, Thomas Perry, offensive lineman center out of Middlebury, absolutely standing up an SEC guy and giving tape left, right, and otherwise all week long. That guy just, put millions in his pocket, just in the tape that he was able to put on at the Shrine Bowl. So hats off to him. BYU, Tyler Batty, edge rusher. Now, we're not big into edge rushers and maybe need for an edge rusher, but if we're talking about stars, I got to give it up to one Tyler Batty out of BYU, looking fantastic out there. Maybe going a little bit more towards our style of need. for the Denver Broncos. I'll run through just a couple of names. For defensive tackle, you got to talk about guys like Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, Jordan Phillips that was putting on a clinic out of Maryland, Indiana University CJ's West, and Ole Miss JJ Hughes as well. I mean, all fantastic tape that they were able to put on at the Shrine Bowl. Now, again, I don't know how far these guys end up rocketing up. I was telling Kenny before the show, I'm doing a lot of tape and evaluating, but haven't really necessarily seeded as far as first round, third round, fifth round. I'm just liking the talent that I'm seeing out of all those guys as well. Let me see if there's anybody else that really jumped out at me. I might have to jump back over. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to jump back over. I'm not going to do it. Anybody else? Oh, one other one, another Ole Miss product, and it's another position of need. Look out for linebacker Chris Ball Jr. as well. Looked really, really good. Might be able to see what he does in the upcoming combine and pro days, and might be a position that we can get as well. I think that's about everything that I had from the Shrine Bowl as well, man. Just a few names and a few faces that kind of pop down there for me. Ones that I'll be looking to seed in the future, and hopefully, like I said, good pro days, good NFL combines. Got to give it up to my friend Jeremy Dressler, who wants to see our good friend from Montana State University, Tommy Merlot, switch from quarterback as an undrafted free agent and play the slot receiver as well, because he's got a nose, man. He's not afraid of getting hit. So anyway, who knows where Tommy Merlot ends up now. But Kenny, any final thoughts, Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, before we get into the second half?
Yeah, for those people who are interested, go on YouTube, go look at highlights for these guys that we mentioned, and there's a lot of good sites out there, good channels out there that strictly do the practices. That's where you want to see the Senior Bowl in general. Some guys don't play, some guys get more playing time than the others, but the practices and the drills, that's where you want to watch. So go check out some highlights, especially Elijah Arroyo, guys. Go look at his highlights at this practice, this Senior Bowl practice this week. And tell me what you think next week when we come live.
Absolutely, man.
I got homework for the posse.
Homework, yeah. If you haven't looked at the tape, you should. It's not homework. It's pure pleasure, Kenny. It's pure pleasure going out there and watching the tape and what that guy's capable of doing. Also, what's pure pleasure is our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold wholesale prices. They've been doing it for over 34 years. Once a nationwide company, now they're just in your backyard. Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming, doing shows all over the place. I know there's one coming up, and Pearl was nice enough to let me know, and now it's escaped my mind where it's going to be, but an upcoming show, Pearl let me know. They just got done on Longmont a couple of weeks ago. A lot of love there. But I'm telling you, if you aren't able to get out to one of these amazing shows, I got a fantastic little trick for y'all. Head on over to Etsy. Type in Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. And there you are. You're right there with Morgan Trinkets. Any purchase over $50 is shipped absolutely free. All major credit cards are accepted. And she's also got silver, 100% sterling silver. So check that out as well. End of February, Jeffco Fairgrounds in Golden, Colorado. That's where you want to be if you want to be checking out Pearl. All the amazing Morgan Trinkets, all the Southwest Jewelry, pottery, estate gold, sterling silver, fantastic prices. Wouldn't be doing fantastic prices and great customer service for 34 years. It's got to be great. It's got to be great. Check out Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets Co. over on Etsy. Do it today. We'd appreciate it a ton. It's in Golden, right, Pearl? Yeah, absolutely, Phil. Phil had a fantastic question, and it gets us kind of over to the topic that we need to get to. I'm going to go these slide by slide, man, and we're going to get to Phil's question, I think, in slide number 2. I'm going to pull this up. Just give me 1 second, man. But Kenny, there's some big free agents, maybe some trade possibilities out there as well. And you wanted to go through these, get my opinion, get the posse's opinion at, what do you think?
Yes.
Is this a possibility, right? So why don't you get us started? Kick us off, buddy.
Okay, we're going to start with the one defensive guy I think we got on this list, Keith. Is that how we want to order we want to go? So
yes, sir.
News broke. Arguably, I think he's the best edge rusher in the NFL. Myles Garrett requesting a trade from the Cleveland Browns. So I have to ask, is there any way the Broncos would think about bringing in Myles Garrett, arguably a top 3 defensive player in the league, and pair him up with Pat Surtain in the same defense? Is there any possible way? And I know it's I got to ask, and I'll throw my 2 cents in after everybody has a chance to answer and Keith answers.
Kenny, I mean, the possibility of Myles Garrett, Zach Allen, Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, man, if that doesn't have you salivating a little bit right there, man. But I just think that this is going to be so steep. This is going to cost you picks and players. And does it put you further forward than it would maybe set you backwards? We all saw what the Cleveland Browns were with Myles Garrett. He was one of the best, but the Cleveland Browns were only able to get so far with just one Myles Garrett. Scott Sigley's right there with me. Love him, but can't afford him. Well said, Scott, over on YouTube. That's my sentiments exactly. I couldn't have put 6 words together better. So,
yeah,
my waffling as well.
Yeah, my 2 cents was it's going to cost not just any old player. If I was the Browns, I would demand like Nick Bonito back in the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Browns are going to get something good in return from a team, but the Broncos are fine on their defensive edge with Cooper and Franklin Myers and Bonito. No need to break that up right now. As good as Myles Garrett is, it's just going to be too steep, and you won't have any room to wiggle anywhere else on the other side of the ball and some other players as well. So, unfortunately, I think you got to pass on Myles Garrett as well.
Yeah, I mean, man, it would be amazing to have those 4 across the front. It would change everything, and it would make that secondary shine even better and brighter than they already are. But Myles Garrett, maybe just a little too little too steep, man. A little too steep. And I think that everyone's in agreement. Phil coming in, like I said, as well. Garrett is just too expensive. So, where are we heading next, buddy?
I wrote down. Want to go running backs? We'll do the running backs that we have on our list.
All right. Let me
we'll go with the bigger name first. Yeah, we'll go with the bigger name first. We'll go with Mr. Aaron Jones, free agent, Minnesota Vikings, getting up there in age. But my opinion, I'd like your opinions first. Aaron Jones would be a free agent, probably looking at a couple, he's probably going to be looking for at least a 2-year deal. I would think you maybe can get him from anywhere, the low end 7 to 10 million. And low end 7, high end 10. Maybe you can get him 7 with some incentives. Maybe he comes over. But your thoughts and the posse's thoughts on Aaron Jones?
It's funny. Aaron Jones once very, very coveted. So now you're talking about a guy that, even in a running back market that continues to get better and better and better, is kind of pretty affordable. Is looking, kind of cheap, I guess you could say. I don't know how else to put it, man. I mean, I think for the production that you're talking about, if you're talking in that $7 million range, I'm all in, Kenny. I think that Aaron Jones is that large of an upgrade at that small of an investment that at $7 million, you should be sniffing around pretty hard. And now, don't get me wrong, as you start creeping up $9-10 million, and if we end up above $10 million, I don't know if I'm necessarily interested in Aaron Jones. I might want to start looking in a deep draft class or other free agents, what have you. But Aaron Jones in that $7 million a year range, yeah, I think I'm interested, man.
Yeah, I think you can get him for, like I said, 7, and you throw some incentives in there. He's reliable, a veteran guy. I think he's a big upgrade from Javonte, like you said, Keith, and Jaleel McLaughlin. And I think this would be a welcome addition, and the posse and the Bronco fans around would be very happy with this addition in free agency as the number one free agent, if he's the number one free agent. Funny coincidence, DJ Jones was last year's big name. Maybe Aaron Jones will be this year's big name. Sticking with the Joneses.
Just trying to keep up with the Joneses, man.
That's
just
it.
trying to keep up with the Joneses. So, at that price, it might certainly be a possibility. I mean, I love the idea of going out there and trying to get those draft running backs, but you're always looking at possibilities and chances. I love the proven product that you have in the NFL. I love the fact that you kind of know what you're getting. And when Aaron Jones, you kind of know what you're getting. So good call, man, on that possibly being one of our bigger free agent signings, man. Who do you got next, buddy?
Yeah, I just want to answer. Karen's asking how he's at blocking. Sorry. He's good at blocking. He can block. So I think he'd be definitely a welcome addition there, and he'd pick up some blocks as well if needed and asked for. So I don't have any problem with Aaron Jones's blocking. I got another running back.
Just a couple more. I'm going to hit the comments really quick. Sure. Ernie Mays, Aaron Jones is good at the right price. Ernie Mays was also coming in and giving us some love and appreciation a little bit earlier as well. Scott was just wondering, hamstring and MCL injury for Aaron Jones? Question mark.
To look into that. I think he was all right.
I think he was all right last year, but I think he did come off of an injury at some point. So we need healthy. The nice thing is we're producing healthy now out of Dove Valley, out of the Mile High City, as being one of the healthier teams in the league. No further delay, man. Who next on your list?
Yeah, we'll go right to the other running back on this list. And for me, I put this guy on the list because I want a complete overhaul of the running back room. I want Jaleel McLaughlin. Thank you for your time with the Broncos, but I think we're gonna, he's another one. Maybe you can ship him somewhere else and maybe get something in the trade package you can give up with Jaleel McLaughlin. I think this guy can take over the spot for Jaleel McLaughlin. Showed some signs in Dallas. Dallas struggled this year. Dak Prescott went out, but Rico Dowdle, I think, would be a real cheap option, and in my opinion, a slight upgrade over Jaleel McLaughlin. So I'd like your thoughts and Posse's thoughts on Rico Dowdle, who I don't think would cost more than like a $4 million.
And I think that's exactly at least where I'm at, right? Maybe no Rico Suave for me. As Paul Schaefer has given him his nickname. I just feel like you're possibly just doing the same thing you just came off of, adding a $3 to $4 million running back that is probably a Jaleel McLaughlin or a Javonte Williams. You know what I mean? I don't see large enough of an upside to go out there and add him to the room. And I know that you're talking about, hey, maybe it's a whole new room, so we'll need bodies. I don't know if I'm running after Rico here. So maybe for me, no Rico Suave. Maybe it's just because he's a Dallas Cowboy, and it's just really tough to get excited about a Dallas Cowboy too, as of late. So, that's my 2 cents, man. That's
my defense, real quick, would be I want to make it clear, it's not going to be Aaron Jones and Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle comes if the Broncos were to get like an Ashton Genty in the draft, and then you got Rico Dowdle as the backup. Like it's not Rico Dowdle starting; he's more of a backup role if they were to draft Ashton Genty. I'm not going 2 free agents in when I need multiple positions. I want to build through the draft as well. So I'm not taking 2. It's if Genty, Dowdley, I'd bring in as a backup and the change of pace guy. That's the only way I do it with Rico Dowdley. I think we got some wide receivers, Keith. I got some wide receivers I wrote down.
Sure do.
A lot of these are through, actually, all of these are going to be through trades. So I'll go with the one that I mentioned that I like, that I can see happening. The most realistic one for me is Garrett Wilson for the Jets. New coach, Aaron Glenn, Aaron Rodgers' situation over there. They didn't see eye to eye very well last year, Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. This could be the one realistic one. I think I'm not doing it for a number 1 draft pick. I would do it for a number 2 or less. And maybe you got to give them one of your young receivers in return. But if you can get this guy on the Jets, what a fit that would be in the Sean Payton offense. Thoughts, Posse and Keith?
Man, I mean, instant upgrade. 100% instant upgrade. We talk about not wanting to push the talent down that's on this team. We just got Marvin Mims getting some snaps. Troy Franklin, we'd like to see develop. Devon Vele, out there performing very well and getting high praise from the coach, especially when it came to early on in the year. But then you look at a generational talent added to your team and you say, I don't care. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about Garrett Wilson. This, I don't know what the cost is going to be. I don't know what it would end up
asking.
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like. But it sure would be exciting, man. I mean, this is the closest thing out there to a guy, a wide receiver that was a rookie last year for the New York Giants, in my opinion. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. To answer Ms. Pearl's question, what I would offer, and I walk away if it doesn't, I would give them, I would try and go future number 2, but if they want this year's second round pick, I got to do it. But it's also going to cost either Vele or Troy Franklin, shipping him to New York. I still got to do it. You get this generational talent. That's what I would not giving up a number 1 pick. As much as it would be tempting, I'm not doing it. And Keith, I don't know if you saw there's a new person in the chat. Just wanted to point him out. Where was he? Mr. Harold Bropst on YouTube saying, pick up George Kittle in a trade with the 49ers. Thank you, Harold, for joining us. I just wanted to, definitely point you out there. That'd be amazing, right? Get George Kittle in a trade with the 49ers.
So let's ask ourselves this, because you're absolutely right, man. George Kittle, obviously an upgrade in that tight end room and that tight end group. A little bit of injury history I'm a little bit concerned about, but I just brushed that off a little bit ago with Pearl saying, hey, get him into the Denver Broncos. Who knows what could happen, because it seems like we're the healthy spot now. But what would it take, what would the 49ers want in return? Would it be a player? Would it be a pick? What would it take, do you think, to get a George Kittle from the 49ers at this point?
I'm going to say multiple picks in years. So maybe a second this year, a third or a fourth in 2026 or 2027. I think it's going to take like 2 or 3 picks, multiple year picks. I think you can get it done for somebody like a George Kittle.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to find the piece that they really need that you can maybe tempt them with, right? Because it's not like you have the running back if they're worried about McCaffrey's health. It's not like they're really worried about their wide receiver room, because it seems like they have some talent there. You know what I mean? They're a contender and they're an up and comer. So there's a lot of places that they're really good at So I think that you're right. I think it's multiple picks in order to get a guy
Maybe
like that.
maybe a defensive, maybe like a Jonathan Cooper or
Hmm.
Franklin Myers, because Bosa's always had injury history. Maybe that would get it done too.
Very good,
That
man.
would be a player. Yeah.
Very good. More wide receivers, man. Let's
Yeah,
let's
one
throw a
that you
few.
like, Keith. We talked about this off the air. Saints going to have a new coach. It's probably going to be Kellen Moore. Derek Carr is still the quarterback there, but they may move on from him. So how do you move on from Derek Carr and get some draft picks? You got to trade one of your star playmakers, and their playmakers, Chris Olave, Keith. Posse and Keith, your thoughts?
I've always been a huge Chris Olave fan. I think he is a star. I think that unfortunately, the position that he's in and the team um, that he's playing for does not give him the love he deserves. You know what I mean? You're not going to see hardly any of his games. You had to see the big highlights from him in order to get any highlights at all, and that team is just absolutely getting obliterated left to right and every way on Sunday. Chris Olave is a star. I hope he's healthy enough because he's been racking up the head injuries. But outside of that, I think he's an immediate upgrade, and what a talent, man! I would do just about anything to add Chris Olave to this roster. You're right, man. I love this guy.
Yeah, Ohio State and LSU, they know how to produce wide receivers. We just talked about Garrett Wilson, Ohio State wide receiver. They know how to produce. So if you can get Chris Olave in a trade and the price is right, Bob Barker, come on down, Chris Olave. That'd be a great move. The next one, Keith, and I apologize to Phil. It should have been first on the list, but Cooper Kupp. He had a question earlier about Cooper Kupp. 32 years old. Rams look like they're going to move on from him. They're going to try and trade him. Thoughts on Cooper Kupp? I'll throw my 2 cents in first. I'll do my 2 cents in first on him because this may not be popular with Broncos Nation, but hear me out. I say yes to Cooper Kupp because when healthy, 32 years old, he's going to want to prove it to a new team that he still has it. And it's not going to cost much at all besides the money he makes. It's not going to cost much because the Rams are going to have a hard time getting rid of Cooper Kupp because of the money he makes. You're looking at like a 5th or 6th round pick, maybe one of your young wide receivers, but I think a 5th round pick can get this done.
Well, there you go. 5th round pick, according to Kenny, because Phil's question was, he says, guys, I've seen a lot of different answers on this question. So what is yours? What would you give up for Cooper Kupp? Now, 5th is what you could get him for. Could you be tempted for more than a 5th? Is that as high as you're going to go for one Cooper Kupp, Kenny?
That's what I'm doing if I'm the Broncos. Another team may be more desperate. They may go 3rd or 4th. But if I'm the Broncos, that's what I would give up for Kupp because there's a good chance he may even get released. Nobody's gonna, they know he's up for trade now. 32 years old, that is getting up there in age. Injuries, he's making a lot of money. He may just get released when push comes to shove. So a 5th round, Rams may take that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I could see a team, giving up a 4th, but as far as what I would be willing to give up, I'd have to give up a 5th right now. I can't give up a ton and have to pick up a contract of one Cooper Kupp based on his injuries. I want to see him come back. I want to see him prove it a little bit. He's going to prove it on a contract that's not too bad for him if I go ahead and I go out and I trade for him without manipulating and restructuring, and which basically just means adding more years and hoping that this guy can last longer. That's a scary enough thought in and of itself. So you're paying this guy quite a bit, man. You can't give up the farm for him. The fifth round pick is as high as I would go. I would agree with you, Kenny. Um, 2-3 years ago, we're talking a whole different situation, Kenny. We're talking a whole different situation for Cooper Kupp. We're talking about a guy that you're probably giving up a third round, possibly second round pick for. But injuries and time has caught up with one Cooper Kupp, and it's going to make it a little bit tougher for him.
Yep, and another new face that I'm seeing, Captain More Taken, and YouTube saying it's possible he gets waived, and we just mentioned that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The price might be too high for teams to take an aging wide receiver that has injury history. So, excuse me, Keith. Got one more name. This is perfect timing, it looks like, because I'm looking at the clock.
Yeah. It's okay, man. I pay the overtime bills. We're okay, buddy.
Okay. It's just like us over at the other side here. Yep. The last name I got on here, a guy who's disgruntled over there in Miami, Keith, and a posse. And what better way, in my opinion, to stick it to the Chiefs? Mr. Tyreek Hill. Any possibility, Keith, posse, Tyreek Hill changes scenery and comes to the Chiefs' rival, the Denver Broncos, and sticks it to the Chiefs?
Yeah. Whoa. You're bringing up things I never thought of, man. Here's a guy that, has a chance when he got done with that game, he's like, man, can't handle it. Need to go a place that, where I can win, don't know where it's at, Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Denver is the first spot on his list, but man, to get back into the AFC West, to be in his old stomping grounds, I don't know if he has anything against the Chiefs necessarily. I mean, it was pretty much just, go out and getting paid come Miami. But man, what a storyline. Storyline or not, man, I don't think he's the fit. And captain's coming in and saying trouble, and Michael saying pass, and Paul saying he quit on the team. This is the thing that when we start talking about that type of mentality, getting paid, right now, this organization, this team is all about high quality character type of guys. And I just in itself, I don't know if Tyreek Hill makes the most amount of sense added to this roster. I think there's just a little too much diva, a little too much me that's not needed on this team right now, regardless of him being one of the most amazing talents out there. I just don't want it to set the team backwards in too many other ways.
I'm not sure if Miss Pearl loves Tyreek Hill. She might be the only one right now if she does. And I unfortunately think he's not going to be a Bronco. I unfortunately think there's a bold prediction that he becomes a Las Vegas Raider. And you do see him twice a year. But you got PS2. We got, Broncos got PS2. So, I take my chances with PS2 against anybody in the league, including Cheetah. So if he's on the Raiders, good luck. Good luck, Tyreek. He'll be unhappy after 4 weeks. So, but I could think you could clearly see, couldn't you see him going to Chip Kelly offense, Pete Carroll, Tyreek Hill, to the Raiders? Doesn't he fit like that mold? Disgruntled type player. So send him to the Raiders. Let him go there. He'll be he'll be looking to get traded in a year. So have fun. I don't think he's a Bronco. That's the least one on my list that I think would happen out of all the guys we listed. Including Myles Garrett. I got this less likely than Myles Garrett. So.
There you go. Tyreek Hill and Kelly Green, though. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something that just seems right about that for some reason. So, Kenny, man, this offseason, it's hectic. It's chaotic. It's the craziest most fun time of the year, man, and we're just getting started. I mean, just getting our toe in the door, man. Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl are done, man. You went out there, you had a fantastic article over on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, man. Our first from you, in our first in a series called the Dark Horse series, and Dark Horse free agents. If you guys, gals, if you haven't checked it out, RockyMountainSN.com. That's RockyMountainSN.com. I'll go ahead and I'll put it up there. Got to head on over there and check out that. There'll be more to come in that Dark Horse series, but that's just another big component. I can't believe that we got through just about everything that we wanted to get through tonight. Kenny, I don't think you're going to be back for us come Friday.
No, Friday I will be. Unfortunately, I got the other job, so I work on Friday nights. So, but I am here Tuesday. So, want me to give you a little? I got a Super Bowl prediction. You want me to give a Super Bowl prediction?
That's what I was thinking of, Kenny. That's what I was thinking.
I know I wrote down surprise performer, best performance in this game, and the prediction, final prediction. So, my surprise performance, I'm going on the defensive side of the ball. And it's going to be on the Philadelphia Eagles rookie corner. Quinyon Mitchell comes through with a huge interception, bold prediction, possibly pick 6. The bold prediction is going to be in the fourth quarter, comes through with the big interception to ruin the Chiefs' three-peat. My best performance, former Giant Saquon Barkley. Wish him the best of luck. True professional. I think he's going to have a monster performance. Why not? You got the best offensive line in football, in my opinion. You've been using him all year. I don't see the Chiefs being able to stop him for 4 quarters. My prediction, Posse and Keith, your Philadelphia Eagles will be Super Bowl 59 champs, 29-25. We go with the odd scores there for the Super Bowl boxes. So 9-5 will be the winner in the Super Bowl box, and the Eagles get their revenge and win Super Bowl 59.
I love it, man. We need the green to beat the red. Let's just put it about that way, man. Green means go, red means stop. Simple as that, man. I can't wait for the Eagles to dominate, man. What are you doing tomorrow night, man?
Tomorrow night, Keith will be joining us over at the K&K Sports Show for our Super Bowl Spectacular. This is our 5th year of K&K Sports Show. So we're going to have our Super Bowl show. We have, we'll talk not just about the Super Bowl. We have a lot of things lined up for you. Kansas City versus Philadelphia in the world of sports, the world of food, entertainment, you name it. We're going to have a fun-filled hour. We got a lot of fun stuff. Keith's going to be joining us 8 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Mountain time. Please come check us out. You will not be disappointed.
Well, you got Paul already over there, man. He says K&K. I will check it out. Promise.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had lots of love tonight, man. We used to run through all the names, but the posse is getting so dang big. A few names off the top. Phil and Michael, who came in here dropping stars, along with Clayton, who dropped stars as well. Thank you very much, man. That's always appreciated when anybody is able, capable, and generous enough to do so. Thank you to every single one of you, from the Ernie Mays to the Pearls to the Karens to our new friends like the captain who came in. Geez, I mean, all the different friends and family that have come to. Go ahead, buddy.
We missed one earlier, David McElrath on YouTube. So I was just scrolling through. We apologize for missing that one, David, missing your comment, but thank you for joining us. So and Harold also on YouTube as well, new member joining us. That's awesome.
Well, that's just it, man. The names are coming through so fast. The comments are coming through so quick. The posse is so amazing, and they've got such great thoughts, answers, questions, ideas that we just end up blowing through an hour. We end up missing comments, and I promise, even in the future, I want to get back in there. I want to be talking to you guys more and more, answering things that maybe we missed throughout the podcast. You guys are just rocking it too much, and I can't get it to it in every single show. That being said, let's make it even bigger. Let's make it even more fantastic. Let's get even more Broncos fans in here. Please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like, the share, the big hearts, whatever you can possibly do. We love and appreciate you, and we try to get back whenever possible. Kenny, any final last quick thoughts before we get out of here?
Enjoy the rest of the week, everyone. Have a great show Friday. We'll see everyone hopefully tomorrow, but enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday, everyone. Go Eagles.
Go fly, Eagles fly, right? Fly, Eagles fly, man. We do got to get out of here. Ran a super late show tonight, man. It's all because of you guys. You guys are amazing. We love you. We get out of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast one way and one way only. Oh, by the way, go live every Tuesday and Friday. So there'll be more horsemen on Friday, even if Kenny's not here, getting you all taken care of on Denver Broncos news, notes, rumors, all that stuff. So join us 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. But we're going to get out of here the way we always do. Make sure you keep your boots in the stirrups, your guns in the holsters, and the Denver Broncos in your heart. Until next time, we're out of here. Have a great night. Have a great week, everybody. We're out.